I was preparing for this homily, I got curious of how the world's wealth is being distributed in the world. Okay, so I searched in the internet, and I found out that the top 6%, a 0.6%, which are the adults with more than $1 million in assets, okay? And they hold 39.3% of the world's wealth. The next 4.4% holds 32.3% of the world's wealth. So if you combine the two, the 0.6% and the 4.4%, that's the top 5%, they hold 72% of the world's wealth. The bottom 95%, they just hold 28% of the world's wealth. So you see here the disparity of the world's wealth. There's few who are so rich, and then there's so many who are so poor. I work in China for 5 years, and you know what's the average salary of a Chinese laborer? $80 a month. $80 a month. Okay, maybe some of you here, you're earning $80 an hour. Okay? The Chinese worker, they're getting this low, they're being provided with food and board and lodging. Okay, so they're still fortunate compared to others. Because if you check at those who are, I look at the internet and I check the percentage of those who are living in extreme poverty. 9.2% of the world's population, or 689 million people, live in extreme poverty. What do you mean by living in extreme poverty? Those who are earning $1.9 or less of a day's salary. Imagine less than $2 of a salary of a day. And for those who are living in extreme poverty, they experience the hunger. They experience the thirst. And when they're experiencing that hunger and that thirst, they get desperate. Okay? They get desperate. That's why they eat their pride. They go and beg. Beg for money, beg for food. Some would even resort to stealing, killing, just in order to have something to eat. Okay? And some, because of extreme poverty, they could die. And by looking at these statistics and catch a glimpse of what people who are experiencing some extreme poverty, we get a sense of what the Israelites were going through when Moses led them out of Egypt. And they were in the desert. For several days, they did not have any food. And they started to complain. Well, they have the right to complain. They started to complain to Moses. What did the Israelites say to Moses? If only we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots and ate our fill of bread. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Okay? And the Lord moved by compassion to see the condition of the people. He provided manna in the morning and quail, which is meat, in the evening, in order to provide for their needs. Similarly, in our gospel today, we're reading from John chapter 6, and if you're familiar with it, the same chapter was said last Sunday, and it was the feeding of the 5,000 by Jesus performing a miracle of multiplying the 5 loaves and 2 fish. But now, the people are back. They're looking for Jesus because they want the bread that they had. And they're missing the point. Jesus performed the miracle not just to satisfy their physical hunger. He performed a miracle as a sign so that they would believe. And yet, in the gospel today, if you hear They were asking for another sign so that they would believe. So they're missing the point. They're missing the point. What did Jesus say there? Very truly, I tell you, you're looking for me not because you saw signs, but because you ate your fill of the loaves. Do not work for the food that perishes, but for the food that endures for eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you. And after he said this, he said this famous scripture passage from John chapter 6, verse 35. What is that passage? Okay. I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. The question that we have to ask ourselves, do we believe that? Do we believe that He is the bread of life, who could satisfy our hunger and quench our thirst? And He's not talking about just the physical hunger and thirst. Mother Teresa once said this: we think sometimes that poverty is only being hungry, naked, and homeless. Okay? The poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. We must start in our own homes to remedy this kind of poverty. We're living here in Canada. It's a first world country. Okay? And a lot of us, we're not experiencing this extreme poverty. And yet, a lot of us are experiencing this poverty that Mother Teresa is pertaining to. The poverty of being unloved, unwanted, and uncared for. Look around our family. Look around our neighbors. Look around our society, or even look into yourself. Maybe you're struggling with that poverty. Okay? And St. Augustine once said this: there is a God-shaped vacuum in every man that only Christ can fill. All of us, I could say, all of us are longing for love. All of us are longing for happiness. All of us are longing for peace, for joy, for contentment. And what do? Many times we turn to other people, we turn to things to satisfy that longing. We try to fill up that God-shaped vacuum with money, possession, prestige, power. And some of us would even turn to forms of addiction to fill up that God-shaped vacuum that we all have. That's why we need to ask ourselves, do we believe when Jesus said, I am the bread of life? I am the one who could satisfy your hunger. I am the one who could quench your thirst. And in our gospel today, when Jesus said, I'm giving this bread that would give life to the world, what did the people say? And that should be our disposition. The people said to Jesus, give us this bread always. We must be a beggar, begging for this bread, not because we need to earn it or we deserve it. It is acknowledging that we have this God-shaped vacuum. We have this longing for love, happiness, joy, peace, contentment, and acknowledging that it is only Jesus who could satisfy that longing. Mother Teresa once said about this, shared this story when she was in India. She encountered a beggar, a mother of several children, begging for food. So Mother Teresa gave her some food, just enough for her family. You know what she did with the food? She shared it with others. She shared it with others because she felt the pain. She felt the hunger. She felt the thirst She felt the desperation of other beggars like her. It's the same with us. Do we experience that spiritual longing, that spiritual hunger, that spiritual thirst? And do we turn to Jesus? Because unless we are being satisfied by Jesus, satisfying that longing, we won't be able to share Him, the bread of life, to others. Do you believe that? Right? You won't share Him. You won't share Him. And that's why we need to have this disposition. Give us this bread always. Every day. We all need this bread, the bread of life. Here at St. Mary's, we put special emphasis on evangelization. Okay? And we've heard of so many terms of what evangelization is. Evangelization says preaching the kerygma. It is sharing the good news. It is bringing people to an encounter with the Lord so that they would become His disciple. But I found this definition of evangelization, which is very true. And this definition of evangelization is said by a Protestant pastor in the Protestant pastors in the mid-20th century. Okay? And this is what he said. Evangelism or evangelization is just one beggar telling another beggar where to find the bread. And this bread is the bread of life, which is Jesus, who alone could satisfy all our hunger.